Hey everyone, I wanted to share a website with you. It's called StoryJumper.com, and it's a website where your students can go to create and publish their own books online. I think it's best for K through 2, but I'm sure that there might be implications for older grades as well. It's a completely free website, and I think that it aligns really well with the Common Core State Standards for writing. If we take a look at grade 2, one of the standards is that students can write narratives in which they recount a well-elaborated event or short sequence of events. One of the other standards is with guidance and support from adults, use a variety of digital tools to produce and publish writing, including collaboration with peers. And I think that this website can help you meet a couple of these Common Core writing standards. I want to show you really quickly a book that I had my daughter make this weekend. She's 4.5, just to kind of show how easy it is. I just had her add any pictures that she wanted, any backgrounds that she wanted, and narrate to me what her story was going to be about. And I just typed in what she said to me. And so as you can see, students can create a narrative with imaginary or real characters if they would like, choose their backgrounds, and create a book really easily. So I'm logged in as a teacher right now. If I wanted to create my class, I would click on My, and it's going to show me any existing classes that I have and give me the option to set up a new class. So you would go ahead and click on Set up a new class, name your class whatever you want, and create a class password. The class password is going to be given to all of your students so that when they log on in the classroom, they can access their account. So you need to create a password that's pretty easy that they can remember. StoryJumper.com has a duration that the students can stay on the website. They say they do this for privacy purposes so that if you are using a shared technology environment like a computer lab or a computer cart, if the children forget to log out, it will automatically log them out after whatever time you designate. So 1 hour and 30 minutes is what they have on here, but you can increase or decrease that to your liking. Children will automatically be logged out so that whoever uses the computer next after them won't have access to their StoryJumper account. You can enter how many students you have. So if I have 23 students, I would type in that number and click Update. StoryJumper.com automatically creates screen names for the children. I'm not sure why it left those top 3 boxes blank, but it does: an adjective and a noun. Red goat, true deer, silly frog. You can use that if you want, or you can uncheck that box before you click Update. It would leave all of these blank, and then you could just use what we use in the district, which is first name dot last name, or you could do just their first name, or first name and the first letter of their last name. You know your class, so you know what would be easiest and best for them. I'm just going to reduce my class size down to 2 students, otherwise it's going to expect me to type in 23 names. But when you're done, you just click on Save, and it will take you back to your classes. If at any time you want to add or delete more students, you would click Edit, click Add More, and then click Save. When you want your students to be able to work in the class, you need to click Start if you selected duration. You also have the option when you're editing your class to uncheck that box. You don't have to have a duration of time. If you trust that your students are going to log out and no one else is going to log into their StoryJumper account, uncheck that box. That's up to you. But if you do have a duration of time set, you need to press Start so that they can start working in it while they're with you. It's going to show you how much time the kids have left. You can also create your own book as a teacher if you want to create samples so that the kids can see maybe what your expectations are or what they can do. So I can click on My Books, and I can see any books that I have created. I just made a simple one that just has sentences, so it's not a story. And this is just an example of how you could use this if you're working on just writing basic sentences, or if you want the kids to work on descriptive sentences. Maybe you're working on subject and predicate and you want them to type in a sentence and then make the subject red and the predicate green or something like that. So it doesn't have to be an actual story that the kids are creating. I think this is an awesome tool that you can use in the classroom. So one of the great things about StoryJumper.com is that you can click on Explore, and on that page you can see books that other people have made that they've made public. As a default, your books are private, but you can choose to make them public. So then I can get ideas to see what other people have worked on. And as you can see here, this person clearly uploaded these drawings. So these weren't pictures on StoryJumper.com. So when you're ready to get started, you just hit create, and they give you lots of different options for how to get started with building a book. You can create one from scratch, and they have some templates. There's a treasure map builder, food fun. You can kind of just take a look through all of them. The other option that you have is to personalize a book from others. So books that have been made public by people, you can take those books and make it your own. So that's a choice also. They have a tutorial that will kind of walk you through it step by step, or you can watch the video. I'm going to hit build a book from scratch. Unfortunately, you cannot use StoryJumper on the iPad because this interface requires Flash Player, and we know that iPads do not have Flash. So you have props, scenes for backgrounds, photos. So if your children drew something and they wanted to include that drawing in the book, you would click on Get Photos. It would need to be on your computer, already uploaded, and then they could add that. And then of course they have text boxes, so the kids can choose any background they want, and they'll see what it looks like on that page as they click through. And they can add props to that page, and they can make it bigger or smaller. They can rotate it, put it wherever they want. They can also click on more props, and there's lots of different categories for them to choose from. And whatever they click on, as you can see, it's just going to the left. It's being added to their props page. There is a lot to choose from, and your kids can get really stuck on how many props there are. I know that when I put my daughter on here, she wanted this, that, and so she clicked every last one and couldn't really focus on the task at hand. So that might be something that you talk to the kids about when you're walking them through the website, not focusing so much on clicking every single thing. Oh, I like that, I like that, I like that, I want that, and remind them of what the task is. Yes, they want to create a book that's fun, but they also need to have a piece that they are ready to publish by the time they're done. By default, the books have 16 pages, not including the front cover and the dedication page. They can click to be on whatever page they want. If you need to delete a page, it's pretty easy. You just click on whatever page you want to delete, and over here you have 3 choices: new page, copy page, and delete page. So if you hit delete, are you sure? Yes. You can also add more pages by clicking new page. And copy page, what that does is if I click on a page that I've already worked on and I want to have this same exact page on another page, I would hit copy page, and now it's on page 1 and 2, the same exact thing. To add text to their page, the children would just select text on the left, and they have different choices for text boxes: a cloud, a star border, etc. The options that they have for the text box varies on what type of text box they choose. So for example, if I pick big text box, I can choose what font I want, what font size. I can make it bold, italics, very similar to a word processor. And then just like with the props, they can choose to make the text box smaller, larger, or press the red X to delete. If they choose this one, they don't have the fonts to choose from. They don't have the font size to choose from. They just can use these arrows up or down to either bring the text in front of or behind their props. Like right now I just put it behind, but I can put it back in front. This is just going to make the font bigger or back to small, and then they can choose the font color and the background color for the font. If I chose the cloud, same thing. My options are minimal, but here they can flip the cloud behind their text just to make it fit a little bit better. And then again, they can select delete if they want to get rid of that text box. For the cover, it automatically pulls the first page to be the cover page, but they can pick any page they want to be on the cover. Remind your children to click save as they're working. That's the bad part, and I learned that the hard way with my daughter. She made all of these pages and we didn't click save all the way through, and my son plugged out the computer and she lost a couple of her pages. So remind them to click save periodically. Maybe you want to put a timer on the board that goes off every 3 or 4 minutes and just say, all right, click save. So once I'm done doing work on my book, I can hit save and it will save whatever changes I've made, and then I can hit exit to go back to the main page for this specific book. When I'm on that page, I have the option to read my book. I can change the sharing settings, so right now it's private, which means that only I can see it, but if you click on share and you type in a description for your book, you can change it to anyone, which would make it public to anyone in the world, or just friends and family. And then also you have the option to allow other users to create their own version of this book, which means that they would be able to take your book and personalize it to make it their own. Hit save, and then they can enter their parents' email address and then hit send. So let's go back. All of the books that you make on StoryJumper.com can either be printed as a paper copy just to your printer, or you can order a hardcover book from StoryJumper for $24.95. So when your students share the books with their family members, if they love it and they want to buy it, they can. You do need a minimum of 16 pages in order to print a book. That's important to keep in mind. Okay. To see your list of classes, if you want your children to be able to access StoryJumper at home, under the Edit tab, you would make sure that the Home Access button is checked. If you don't want them to be able to use StoryJumper at home, you could just simply uncheck it. If you want the children to be able to use StoryJumper at home, you can print out directions for their parents. It just gives their name, their screen name, and whether or not they have home access. And then it gives the parents the URL that they need to go to, the class ID, their screen name, and the special password is different than the password that you use when you're logging in from school. If you go back to the home page on StoryJumper, they have amazing resources to just help you get started. Here's the Classroom Edition Quick Guide. If you click on that, it gives you 7 steps that you need to help your children get started on making a narrative. And they also have a worksheet that you can download. It's just a story starter worksheet. It's a great way to get the juices flowing in your kid's brain before they sit down and start working on StoryJumper. Character, challenge, motivation, setting, obstacles, climax, outcome. So they kind of already have their story laid out before they go to Classroom Jumper and get started on that. It helps you create accounts, talks about the different props, scenes, the book cover, etc. So I think StoryJumper is pretty self-explanatory, and I also just think it's an awesome tool. If you have any other questions about the website, or if you'd like me to come in and work with your kids on getting started on this, just let me know.